was like a co-op town. My father had become a self-taught pattern designer in the shirt factory, the co-op shirt factory.
Okay.
In that river down the Tyne, there were 5 co-op factories. There was chemical workers. Because of the bed in the river, there's particularly good fresh air came up the River Tyne. There was a quilting factory where they used compressed air to sort all the feathers, different grades of feathers.
Wow.
And sadly, that was sold off just before quilts became fashionable, which was a great shame because the co-op could have made a lot of money. In those days, my dad worked for the co-op, and all the employees used to get a card called the St Anthony's ticket, and about once a month we would trip up to the big supply warehouses, and we could buy at cost price all the goods. So we'd get fitted out with shoes or anything unusual we needed, and it was quite, a boon, I think. And people used to get the divvy, in the co-op. When I think about it, there was a separate butcher's, there was a general store, Draper's and general store, and a grocer's shop. And whatever you spent, you got tickets. You got little stamps, tickets built up, or it was just written down. They kept an account of everything you spent, and once a quarter the divvy would come up, and again, that's when we got shoes. That's how it worked. And when I went to college, Mum got bedding and different things for me to take from the co-op. It was sort of like it was a little world of all of its own. When I was older, we used to go up to these posh stores and buy little remnants of fabric and make when the mini skirts first came, or the short ones. When they were on your knee or just above it, that was where the hemline suddenly shifted up. And I remember having this lovely little straight skirt with a little kick pleat, and my first high heels. I think I wore nylons at the age of about 12. And 2 doors away, my godmother, we all belonged to the same church. To make ends meet in her case, she ran a little shop in her front room.
Oh, wow.
And she sold nylons, anything, any household item, underwear, kids' games, anything that people wanted of that sort. I think all the people where I lived were kind of, what would you call them? They weren't white-collar workers, but there were things like foreman on a big building site, or my dad was foreman of the factory, and they all had skills, very skilled labour, and usually had worked their way up through the jobs. So a little bit, had some kind of status, but they were not white-collar jobs. But that was a bit unusual where I lived. We used to go to the cinema. The cinema was a big focus. I used to get 9pence pocket money, old money, and 6pence got you in, and 3pence bought you some sweets or lolly, and a lot of the kind of kids' films, cartoons, films, thinking about cowboy films, space, science fiction, all sorts of stuff. And they would be in serials, so you'd see them week to week. And they would follow on,
Are there any particular films that stuck in your mind?
Gosh, I'm trying to think. I think the early Superman used to be on. The guy's tags looked a bit baggy. They don't look like the later Superman. And we used to get a Lucky Dip pack. We used to love the Lucky Dip. And what they would have in, you'd have a lolly and a sherbet fountain with licorice in. And we used to have these, what we call Billy Stampers, these stickers that you could lick. You licked your hand and you stuck them on, and then you licked the back of the paper.
And they get stuck on your tongue.
And then you peeled the paper away, and the transfer was on your hand or up your arm. And if you were careful, they didn't wash off too quick. You had to try and wash around them for a few days. But when we were really young, there was rationing, and so you could get the lolly in the cinema. But I think you had to have coupons to get sweets.
Sweets, really.
So maybe our teeth survived a bit better. I don't know. We used to crave sweets, really did.
Right, so...
And so we used to do things ourselves. We bought cake decorations.
Okay.
We used to buy hundreds and thousands in a little sort of cone-shaped little paper packets. And we used to mix cocoa. We didn't have drinking chocolate. We used to mix cocoa with sugar.
Right.
And put that in a packet and eat that with our fingers.
Really?
And we used to get rhubarb. Actual rhubarb, and dip that in sugar and eat it. And we used to eat raw turnip and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. In the evenings we'd be playing skipping. Loved skipping and games on the ground with chalk.
Yeah.
You know, we used to do this sort of big snail that went round and round and round. And you used to throw your dabber, your stone, onto the thing, and then you had to hop over it, get to the end, and then come back and bend over and pick it up. And if you touched a line, you were out. We used to tie a thread to the front door knockers of the houses.
Okay.
And is this called knock down ginger? Our version of it, you'd knock at the door and then run away and hide. And the parents would come to the door and nobody there, how is it? Those kids again, rat, you know. And that used to annoy the adults.
You used to really entertain yourselves back then.
Yeah.
It's lovely, we just don't
we
do that
really
nowadays.
didn't know, it's missing, it's really missing. And we used to get thread and we'd sort of tie it on the knocker, and then you could go across the front garden, hide behind the front wall. And there was another game specific to our estate. And there seemed to be generations of kids. My older sister was a whole bunch, her age group, and my older brother was 9 years older than me.
Yeah.
It was a group that I never knew. And my younger sister's age group, you know. But what we used to do, we had 3 little streets, and we weren't really supposed to go very far when we were younger off that estate, and the fields opposite. And we used to have paper and pencil. And it's a bit like hare and hounds. The kids used to, two of them would run off, or one, or maybe just one, with this paper and pencil, and they'd say a number of a house in, say, the further street, which was called Felmere. I think it was Windermere, Grasmere, Felmere, all after the Lake District, lakes.
Okay.
And they'd say, right, going to Felmere, going to number 10, say, and then they'd pick a house in another street, write it on a scrap of paper, so it would be Grasmere 6 or whatever. So put G6 down on a piece of paper, fold it into a tiny little pellet, tiny little piece of paper, and hide it somewhere around the gate.
Okay.
It would be in a crack or under a stone or somewhere. And so we'd count to 100, let this person clear off. And then, you know, it was a race to see if we could ever catch them. So,
that's really
it was observation skills. We were
inventive.
looking in, you know, all around the area and trying to find where they'd been hidden. I can remember we used to dress up as Batman. We used to wear these raincoats because we didn't have waterproofs like we do now.
Yeah.
And girls never, ever, ever wore trousers. We always had bare knees, and even the boys had short trousers, you know, even in winter. And socks right up to you had this bare knee. And you had to have these bits of elastic to hold your socks up. Garters, little garters.
I remember.
And so we used to get dressed up. We'd make little masks. We used to come on the cornflake packets. There used to be lots of masks that you could put on.
Yeah.
And a bit of elastic around the back, you know. And we'd very imaginative play. And we'd go off pretending we were Batman and Robin and things like that, and we'd wear the hoods and all. We'd tie the top button on our cape, on our sort of gabardine raincoat type thing, and we'd sort of sneak about and pretend that we're, you know, very imaginative play.
Nice.